Unmute. How's that? I still can't hear you. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hang on. Oh wait, I think no, you're not muted. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. We're live, by the way. It's okay. I messed up the time. I thought you were still in Germany. I wasn't thinking. All right, we got time. The only thing I know to do is reboot. Try taking, it says host has muted me. You're not muted. It says here, mute, unmute. Now it shows me that you're muted, but now you're unmuted. Mine's unmuted, yours unmuted. I have sound. Okay, I just heard something. That's it. Talk. Talk.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. I don't know what you did.
I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're live, by the way. We're live.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna I am so sorry about the mix-up. I don't know why I was thinking you're still in Germany. I was actually swimming in a waterfall when you.
Yes.
I just come out. Yeah, I just come out.
How wonderful. Yeah. Yes. No, it's even if I had been in Germany, it would have been the same time. It's just London that is 1 hour after us. So we are 1 hour ahead. Central Europe, London, everything is different. England always left side, right side.
Yeah. Okay, that's my bad. I don't know what I was thinking. So every time I schedule something, pretty much I screw it up. So we're gonna keep that out of my hands. All right, let me pull it up and so I can see the comments.
Yeah,
it'd be easier this way. You look nice tonight. You look like you just got back from a ball.
Yes, I feel cozy.
Yeah.
Feel like this color today.
Yeah.
And
is that a lavender? Purple lavender?
Yeah, lavender. Yes, lavender. Exactly.
We got wait a minute. Let's see. Yeah, we got 50 plus people in the house. Let me say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. I can't see who's on.
Let's see. Jania Gazda, Irina Costa. Jania is from Vienna.
Hi.
Pia Halamatstadter from Sweden. Patricia Satchwell, Jasmine Barker, Barbie Steiner from Florida, Britta Junker, Julie Devereaux, my friend from Utah, who came to see me and brought me some great candy.
Oh, great.
Mary Potsy, Sean Knight, Maria Iverson, Matu Ra, Tom Whitebear's here, Crystal Hardy, Amanda Burnett, Vanessa David's here. Good to see her. Oh, wait, let me get on the right. 54 people in the house and counting. If these shows resonate with you, please share. And we seem to be having good success getting on Facebook now, but when we post these on the announcement, our intention is to go on Facebook. If they don't let us, then we go on YouTube, and you can always watch in the Zoom room. There's 4 people in the Zoom room with us today. Hello, Heather Houston, Aline Helsitz, Susie Thomas, Serpa Tuaminen, Susie Thomas, I said that, and Eva Moreno. Okay, so let me just share this real quick to the network, and then we'll get started with our beautiful beloved sister, who looks like she just got back from the ball. Yeah. I was. We went and found this waterfall. I don't think we actually found the waterfall. We found a little waterfall. I think we had to go higher, but I had to jump in the water.
Oh, wow!
I never wake up grumpy, but I woke up grumpy this morning. I was just like super grumpy. I didn't want to You know.
Yes.
So Morgan said, we got to go on the land. You want to go to the beach or to that waterfall? Well, I didn't go to the waterfall when I discovered it because I wanted to go with her.
Yeah.
So I heard about it. It's like 3 streets away from my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
wow.
So welcome.
Yeah, unfortunately, no waterfalls around here.
So I just want to say too, welcome everybody, and thank you for your continued love and support and contributions that allow us to keep doing this as we continue to work towards expanding this to, a broader production in all ways. So we had a really, somebody said, Jim Lynn says, "Hey Todd, I never see you smoke anymore," because I don't.
What?
On camera. Just,
on camera. Okay.
So I can't lie. You can't lie, you know. Yeah, so this is really cool. We had a really rough week last week. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Let me welcome Grace Solaris back, my beloved sister. We got a really tight kindred relationship and synergy ever since I met her last summer. She's super cool. And we've been waiting for her to totally disappear. She did almost on the first show that she did with us. She almost disappeared. That has like 12,000 views now. I noticed that the other day. And that's on one. There's another one that has like 9,000.
Yeah.
Because I released it twice. But okay. Yeah, so welcome back, Grace. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Greetings to everyone. Beloved family, thank you for being here with us in this sacred space of love.
That's right.
Which exactly we are creating together here now. Yes, it has been a rough week. Yes.
Wasn't it though? And I really, you know what, I Morgan came back and I kind of missed a few things on the scheduling. I know I was supposed to get back with you. And then we went through this period. What was it? Go back about 10 days. Yeah, it was. Today's Monday. So it was a week ago yesterday. We had a show with Nikki Hammond, and everything just started from there the whole week. And I think everybody was aware of everyone I talked to, even that aren't in this, say, the Soulogy broadcasting circle, other people I talked to. There was a lot of stuff coming up. And then you put out a post, and that's what motivated me to get in touch with you. And you put a post up, and you talked about, among other things, the Lilith energy. And this isn't my motivation for doing this is not directed at any gender, any person, because I do realize more than ever that we're made up of both frequencies. I'd also realize that we're going through a lot of stuff collectively. We were talking about it last night, and how everybody's been. You can see that everybody's been affected. Yeah. Everybody's being affected. These energies are coming in so strong. But I really like the explanation that you put together on this post, and you were talking about the Lilith energy, and again, not directed at the feminine gender at all. I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up. Very interesting mythological archetype or whatever goddess or whatever she is. But you had a really good take on that, and I thought it was a really, really good post. I thought it was very fair, balanced, and I also thought it brought a little bit of a little balance to the situation. You know, so thank you for that. I don't know
that was the purpose to
exactly
try to calm the sea, and because it was for me, you know, I mean, I didn't have any personal involvement in any way. I mean, I wasn't mirroring anything from the outside. Thank you very much. Obviously, it was needed at that time. You never know. Whenever, you know, there could always be a button pressed by someone or some situation, yeah. But to me, it was just like, it started like, I could just feel like, I remember I woke up one morning, you know, it might have been these 12 days ago, whatever, 10 days ago, whenever it was. And actually, I woke up, you know, blissful, good day, good. And then it was, you know, up in the noon time, around noon or something. Then I felt just, wow, I felt the energy just kind of changed, you know, and I started to get irritable, you know, and I could really feel friction in the air. I would just say friction, or turmoil. So I could really feel there was something released. There was something being released from the collective. You know, I was very aware it was the collective because, I mean, I was at home alone. I didn't have any issues with no one, you know, and I could just feel it in the air. It was just, I would say, explosive. And you know, then the days after, it became more and more, it was like just the energy accelerated and then came to total escalation, kind of very explosive energy. Yeah. So it was really like bringing up our deepest wounds, and yeah, well, it keeps going on, but we are getting really down to the juicy stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt it was like, and I also posted about that. It was really also like a testing period for us now to really, I mean, one main word that kept on, I heard from my guys, discernment, discernment, discernment. What do you give your energy to? Do you really serve the light? And, you know, how do you act, you know? And it's just, what I have experienced is just like really being in this, you know, observer status, you know, which doesn't mean that you are indifferent. It doesn't mean that you are inactive. Yeah. There are different ways of interacting. Yes, it's very much a time where we speak up when something is not right, when something is not truthful and all that. But I mean, we have to speak up for ourselves, right? Yeah. We have to speak up for ourselves, and we have to mind. I mean, it sounds, in a way, it sounds stupid. You have to mind your own business, but okay. I mean it in a way, because we're all in the same boat. So you can't speak of my business and your business. But what I mean is that we have to honor everyone's choice. Yeah. Everyone's plan. I mean, there is a higher plan. If you put yourself in a situation, yes, and you need to speak up, you don't necessarily help others by speaking up for them, because they need to speak up themselves.
Yeah, I think this is, and I'm glad that you started with that because you're verbalizing two things that I think that are real important. I think we've all, like you said, we're all the same, right? We've all done everything. We've all done everything, whether we remember it, admit it or not, and whatever. But there's something about soul responsibility, individuality, self-reliance. Look, the universe isn't going to do anything. I mean, the universe is going to help us, assist us, give us signs. We have a team. But the universal law is, I cannot do for you what you can do for yourself, right? No, and so you're saying, yes, this is 2019. This is the year that we find our throat chakra and we expand it and we speak up. But you also make the distinction of, and I like it, MYOB, mind your own business, or the way I say it is MYOFB. You know, but really, because I said to myself too, you know, because the thing is, if you can't save somebody, then there's some kind of associated correlation there of you can't defend somebody, like you were saying, everyone has to defend themselves now, and I think that's what I love about the distinction you're making. And I don't think this is the way it went in the past. I think this is part of this new transition and of self-reliance, of self-responsibility. We are responsible for what's happening in this universe to the highest degree. And I think you made a really good point there. Go ahead.
So it because it's really about this divine sovereignty now. It's really about stepping in and just, I mean, I need to speak up for myself. Yes, we can support others, but you can also support others in different ways than going in and stating something for them or doing something for them. But we have to learn, so we don't need intermediates. We have our direct connection, the I am that I am, and we can be in that power, in that mighty I am power. And when we step into that, we step into our divine sovereignty, we step into divine immunity, and we become untouchable. Yes. And that's really what it's about. But we need to honor everyone's path. We cannot, we interfere with divine will if we go in, let's say, fight another one's fight. It's not your fight. Mind your own business. Yeah. Yes, we are in the boat together. I don't deny that. But, you cannot, for example, the galactics, that's the same thing. They don't come and save us, like many people, they just hope that they come in and save our ass because we have messed it up. No, they will not.
Yeah.
They will not. Because we are living in this free will zone. We came here, we volunteered to transcend polarity, to step into our divine sovereignty and to become our God self. Yes. And to step aside, to give space for the I am that I am. That's what the ascension is about.
Yeah.
So, and as I said, we can support others in many ways. The same with the ascended master. They can assist us, they can help us, but there are certain decisions that we have to take on our own. Also, like I open my up and I want to look within. Many are saying I can't feel anything. I don't know. And they turn to others. They turn on the external for others, to tell them things, and because they don't trust, and that thing is, you have to trust. And you cannot trust without trusting. You have to take that step and just saying, okay, I just surrender now, and also to realize, you're not in control. That's the other thing. You are not in control. You can, try. And that's what the ego tries to. It's just fighting and fighting and fighting to convince itself that it is in control. But we are not in control when we are in our mind, when we are in ego. So if we step aside and the soul can step in, the I am that I am can step in, then we become instruments of divine will. Yes, it's no longer our will. And so whatever is to our highest good, that will materialize through us. But as long as ego is in the business, we are in avoidance, we are resisting, we are fighting. Yeah, and when we get pulled out of our heart space and thrown into our mind and in past, future, we get fragmented and we get out of alignment.
Yeah,
we get out of alignment of the divine love that flows through us, and the wisdom that is accessible at any time, where we can just allow that. Then we will be in this total divine flow where so when things get effortless, because when we are in the mind, when we are in fight mode or in the blame game, everything is just seems difficult, right? Everything feels, and there's no solution. And I mean, if you're fighting something, there will be no winner.
I think that
cannot.
And I think that at this point in the game, we've all got enough information that we can recognize when because the divide's gotten so big, we can recognize when we're off balance. And what I mean by that is there's a difference between, because this is a year people talk about, one of the things about this year is co-creation, but there's a big difference between co-creation and codependency. That codependency frequency was a huge egoic factor in our conditioning a great teacher, a huge gift, maybe the biggest gift we've ever had, duality.
Yeah.
It's codependency, because so many of our relationships with our job and with our country and with our religion and with our relationships is codependent at all different levels and all different aspects. But the codependency is that, to me, the soul knows, you know, as you're talking about, we're sovereign. We're sovereign of the galactics. We're sovereign of the angelics. We're sovereign of anything and everything. So that means we are the God. We are, I am that. We are the God goddess. And no matter what dimension we're in, one thing never changes. We have that ability to clap our red shoes together and go home, you know, or whatever, however you want to say it. But the codependency thing, and it's certainly, as everything is forgivable. We've all been there. We've all learned from it. We've all been through the battles and the wars and the bloodbaths. But the soul part of us, the higher self part of us, however you want to frame it, does not need the validation it gets from 1111s and synchronicities and feathers dropping in your lap. The ego needs validation from the external. And I think one thing that I have taken on and learned, and I believe a lot of people have, because we're learning so much stuff collectively, is that when we see ourselves trying to gather the troops behind us and raising the staff of righteousness and saying, hey, come jump on this train with me. Those little initiatives are big initiatives. I noticed they don't last very long. They charge up the hill, like travel at the speed of light. It's easy to get burned, you know, it's like up, down. So I think that's one gift I see for all of us, is that we're going to be able to recognize quicker when we're out of balance, because here we are going to the external, and we've all been through that for so many years. So I think that's a great sign. I think a lot of us have been shifted and elevated and expanded as a result of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. So it has really been an opportunity, you know, to see ourselves, you know, what do you give your energy to? Yeah. Is it empowering you? Is it empowering others? Do you really serve the light? You know, look at your actions, look the fruits of your seeds. You know, what does it bring? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel empowered? Does it expand your love? Yes.
Yeah.
That's the question.
I like that.
So I mean, we have been given this opportunity to really look at that, and I think it had really, you know, served its purpose very well. So now we can move on to the next level.
Yeah.
And really it has brought the awareness to this aspect of ourselves, you know, that really needed attention to be really be seen and felt. This was a lot through feeling that stirred up a lot of strong emotions, strong feelings, but in many cases, you know, there was a lot of ego involved.
Yeah.
You know, because the I am soul is neutral. It's neutral. There's no right and wrong. Yeah, there's no righteousness. There's no judgment. Doesn't mean you're an acceptance of everything. Of course not. But you hold space for that.
Yeah.
You hold space for that instead of getting out on the alignment, getting into a fight, or, you know, I want to be right on this one, or I need to make a point.
That's
okay, do you want to make the point, or do you want to be loved? Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's make that point. Yeah.
I think that's the buzzword is righteousness, self-righteousness, right.
Yeah.
Being right. Yeah. Last word. I think one of the sentences that jumped out at me on your post was, it said something about the having to get the last word. You know,
yes.
That was one of them. I highly value what you described in that post, what's occurred for all of us. We're all part of this creation. We've all, you know, and one of the other things that I've noticed for a long time in myself, you know, 2 or 3 years, actually about as long as I've been with Morgan.
Yes.
because I've been guilty of it. And that is, I really believe that the highest level transmission, channeling, download we can receive from the universe is what comes out of our own mouth.
Yeah.
In regard to, she did this, he's that, you're doing this, you're doing that. And it's really interesting now, and I'm not saying I'm anything, but especially looking at myself, because we all put this before ourselves first, is to look at things now and see how obvious, if we could just step out of our body and look at ourselves talking about someone else, projecting someone else, actions, thoughts, words, we're actually talking to ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
We're actually becoming what we're pointing out, or what we believe we're pointing out in righteousness.
Whatever you judge, you become it.
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever you judge, you become it. Yeah, it is really like that. It's just not just word, because you get into that vibration. You take over that vibration, by going into judgment. You just lower your vibration. So if you can manage to just say, okay, this is not okay for me, but I remain in my center, I remain in alignment in my heart, then you can transcend and transmute it. Because when you are in the space of the I am that I am, you serve all one, because you transmute, you generate, you alchemize. Yes. So you can serve on that level instead of getting personal. Yes. And so
I love
whole different way of interacting and serving. And I mean, if you got some kind of personal problem, I just want to add that, which is also very effective. Sometimes it's really more effective. It's really that you can always connect with someone on soul level.
Yeah.
Just meaning you just go into your heart and you just either visualize and just connect, just one thought, you connect with them. And then you could really speak to them from soul to soul. Yes. And they will hear you. Don't have any doubt that they will hear you. And if you just listen, you can also get responses. You can really clear a lot of things. So whether you're doing Ho'oponopono, you do forgiveness work, or you just want to communicate something that they would maybe not allow them, the ego would come in because they're pain body. So you wouldn't even be allowed to communicate that. Yeah. So you can do it on soul level, and it will blend into their being even without them being aware of it.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it will raise their awareness, and it can really bear fruits very fast. It's a very good way to communicate with. Sometimes when you are really problems with communicating with others, you can reach them in this way.
Yeah. I used to do that long before I woke up in a couple of the relationships I had, and it always worked. I would go in a closet and I would call my angels in to talk to their angels and say, let's chill this thing out. There's a kid coming on tomorrow. There's a kid coming on tomorrow out of London. He's been on before, 23 years old, Andy Horry. He writes some good stuff. And he said in one of his posts a couple of months ago, and he was talking about relationships. And he said, if I'm in a relationship with you, Grace, and I see either myself or you as a victim, then something in me is off, right? Basically taking it back to yourself. I started to apply that to what was going on. I thought, well, how does that work? Because I was trying to understand, I believe you got to speak up. I've always, I'm coming out of the same thing everybody else has come out of, and then I started to think, wait a minute, we're all sovereign souls. Everybody stands up for themselves. Everybody has to fly out of the nest. No, there are no exceptions. So if I'm over here and there's a side over here and a side over here, I'm already viewing separation. Therefore, I'm contributing to it. Now, if I take a side, if I take one side or the other, okay, and come out of neutrality, what happens? Well, what happens is I have now chosen to identify myself as either a victim
Yes,
or a
absolutely.
victim, or a victimizer.
Absolutely.
So these efforts, I always believe it's the heart of the intentions, intentions of the heart. I understand our intentions. I understand where we came from, but I also understand that the universe does not stand pat. It doesn't flatline. It's always expanding, and we're out here on the front edge, every bit of us, 8 billion. And I think that we have to be open to change and, within ourselves. So I don't see it any other way. We're either contributing to separation or we're contributing to unity consciousness. And maybe this is just a big, big step on the path of ascension. But I think the recognition that it's received and awareness that's been expanded in it is nothing but a benefit for us all.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So thus, it's important that when we stay in this neutrality, we transcend this victim and abuser thing. Because as you said, if you take side, you already in the duality mindset, taking a side, defending something or defending someone or judging someone, you are blown in again, full in duality. You just step full in. And and then you no longer serve the light. That's how it is, and I mean, you will know what it does to you. And that's why it's so magnificent that these opportunities given, because we are having the opportunity to see that there are still these aspects of ourselves, and really be discerning how we react, what we give our energy to, and choose wisely. So it really served a lot, and it has been massively amount of darkness being transmuted these last days. So yeah, so it's like we are out on the other side now, and yes, I felt a powerful shift coming today. Actually kind of started yesterday, very expansive, blissful energy again, and really the storm calmed again. So it's like now,
somebody said not a few months ago, somebody said earlier this year, I remember them saying, everything's ratcheting up, everything is amping up. And they talked about discernment, and I can't remember who it was. And they said one thing about it, it behooves us, it's in our best interest to stay in our own lane, to mind our own business, to work on ourselves, because it's that much work anyway. And if we're looking at other stuff anyway, we're disregarding ourselves. But what they said was that karma will be instantaneous, more instantaneous as time goes on. I think that's one reason so much stuff came out too, is because there is an immediate impact on a personal level. And I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn how many people you got in your external army. You're all alone in that one. And the universe is like a dog that's got you bitten in the ass, and it's not going to let go. You know what I mean? But and the other thing I find really interesting too is it seemed, and I think you wrote a piece on this, several people did, but it kind of coincided with this Notre Dame thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have
I think it was released through that. That was this Black Lilith energy that was released through that. I really believe it was to really bring up that deep collective. I mean, there has been a lot of the divine feminine wound more on the personal, individual level, but this one was just like a crack, and it was just opening up, and breaking up that massive wound of the divine feminine. So I absolutely, indeed, that was like the ignition, and it really brought this up to the surface.
Wow.
And that was amazing when that happened. I remember that it was just like, when that happened, I was just like, and somebody looking at me, what do you mean? To me, it was just like, thank you, because I saw it as a gift. I immediately recognized that, this had to happen. Yes. To really bring up to the surface that wound. And to me, it was almost like a déjà vu. I was like, now it's happening. I like had just waiting for it to happen. It was really weird. It was really like, yeah, pure déjà vu it was. So yeah, that was really the ignition of that, I believe. So thank God to that. Mm-hmm. And it's just the beginning. So next, the Vatican.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
more to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's that's a great point, by the way, because I think one of the things we're going to have to get used to very quickly, we're all, not all, but there's some programming out there that's conditioned us to wait on Jesus coming on a spaceship, or waiting on this or waiting on that. We're doing this. We're co-creating this. We're responsible for this. Yeah. But one of the things that I think we're going to have to get used to is the physical representation, the symbolic manifestation of removing the lies. It's not going to be always a pretty thing, It's going to be some ugly stuff, and we've got to maintain our neutrality and not go into a lynch mob scenario. Yes. Because if we can go into a lynch mob scenario, a vigilante scenario, in a small social circle or a light worker circle, what the hell do you think? Yeah, what the hell do you think is going to happen when let's just say theoretically, what's going to happen when all of the sins of the Vatican are exposed?
Oh my God!
I mean, we cannot have, the universe is an even hand. It is subjective. It is the God goddess. It is the full understanding of everything being the same thing, no matter what it looks like to us in this duality, in this realm. But we've got to that, and I believe more than anything, no matter what our individual missions are in terms of, like, say, mine's Soulogy and yours is your work, or whatever the case is, that our primary mission is to hold the light in neutrality when all hell breaks loose.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's a good training right now, because, I mean, there are so many, I would say billions of people that, I mean, when everything comes into the light, it's just like 180 degrees, like boom, like what they thought was the truth, and, there's no words to the shock. It's going to be a shock wave, bringing people totally, into panic, into fear, into anger, into all sorts of things. I don't want to spread any negative energy, but it's just like when your life, as you think that it is, suddenly you see it's upside down, then it will release some extreme emotions, some extreme situations. Is inevitable. So it's really good now to really train to be in the neutrality, to really be discerning, what do I give my energy to, and to be like a neutral observer, step aside and try to be neutral, and not to intervene and to interfere.
That's right.
And stay in, because when you stay in this I am presence, you are really the highest expression of love. Yes, beyond right and wrong, And so, as I said, you're rods of light, so you transmute whatever it is that press your buttons, whatever energies that come up, you are transmuting these energies, and the best thing you can do is just to stay in this neutrality, to being in this 0 point. And you will also, I mean, if some kind of action is required, you will know exactly what to do. Sometimes it's required that you do something, sometimes it's required that you speak up, sometimes it's required that you just remain in silence, sometimes it's required that you just remain just being still, so holding that 0 point space for yourself and for others. And when you hold it for your, you hold it for all. That's the thing. And if we all did that, it's amazing what we can do. You could change this place, the whole planet, could come into awakening immediately if you all step into our hearts now and really unite and really understand that we're just one being and we breathe as one, and we just see everyone as a mirror of ourselves and understand that every thought, every feeling that we give our energy to, we empower, we give life to. Yes.
Yeah. And I think also we've gotten to a point where, and I've only been in this thing really about 5 years. I mean, I've been awake or whatever, 7 or 8 years, but watching everything, actively watching everything on the internet since I had a laptop 5 or 6 years ago. Look, we had a guy on from Singapore yesterday. We've had people from all over. I asked him, what he travels a lot. He's a global traveler with his family. They do holistic work, and I said, is the awakening becoming obvious everywhere? And he said, yeah, this place is not as much as this place. This place is more than that place, but yeah, you can see it happening. You can see this. And so what I'm getting at is all of us went through everything we went through. We busted our ass 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 10 years ago. There was always a question of fairness, like, universe, what the hell's going on here? I'm putting my heart out. I'm seeing this guy over here who's an asshole, treats people wrong. He's got everything that he wants. We all been through that. But I think we're in a frequency now, especially in 2019, where we can see the almost immediate, if not immediate, reciprocation of the universe, not just for our efforts today in this moment, but for everything we did and everything we've done. And that to me is that moving, moving spiritual energy that is us. That is the new template. That is the new human being, or whatever you want to call it. And if we feed that, it only expands. Separation is separation. Oneness is oneness. There is no in between. So it's sometimes I have 2 or 3 people that I have worked on in my own mind, and these are family members, that I go back to the till, I go back to the well over and over again. And it's a gradual integration. It's a gradual equality and acceptance. And I have to be honest with myself about that. I can't say, I flipped a switch and I'm okay now. No, I still have to go back and I still have to work on it. And that's okay. That is the trajectory, the expansion, the ascension. But to stand pat and say, no, this is where I stand. That's over there. And I'm not changing. Well, I got news for you. It doesn't matter what the issue is. You, me, whoever it is contributing to the frequency, to the energy of separation. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's a self-reliant sole responsibility. It's incumbent upon us. It's the same thing for all of us. We all have an equal say in the creation, and we also have an equal say in the negation of the creation and our potential.
So, but a good sign that you're waking up, that's when you say enough is enough. That's really when you realize, I cannot continue to take BS bullshit. I cannot continue to take it, whether it's from my brother, my sister, my boss, my the president, whoever it is. You just say enough is enough. And that's really a sign that you're really, willing to look at, a lot of those things that you have just denied or repressed and looked away because they were just too hard to deal with, So that's really a sign, and I think there are many, many, many that are waking up right now that have not at all, have anything to do with spirituality. And I mean, I also think that now we come to the place, we don't even need to speak about spirituality anymore. It's just about being authentic, you know, choosing what's good for you, being honest with yourself, you know, choosing what you give your energy to, you know, you have, and being co-creators, taking responsibility, you know, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Because every thought, you know, it feeds an emotion, and it's like this, I like to see it like this, it's like a web. It's like a web, you know, the spider's got this web. Just go in at any point and just press with the finger there, you know, it moves the whole web. It touches and affects the whole. Yes. So really seeing that, wow, we are really connected as one being, and no matter what thought, what action that you do, it will have an effect on the whole. So really taking responsibility and responding to our ability to choose. Not, you know, as long as we're victim and abusers, say, I can't help it, you know, I just react like that. That's just how I am. No, it's not. You have every moment you can start anew. There's infinite options given to you, how you react, how you deal with the situation. Yeah. No matter what happened in the past, forget it. This is the moment where you can change your life immediately. You can change your relationships. You can open up, you know, everything is given, everything is at hand. Yes. So this is really responding to your ability to choose. That for me is responsibility, responding to your ability to choose. What do you give your thoughts to? You know, how do you react?
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people, especially practitioners, have talked about it. I know Morgan's talked about it since I've met her. That whole "it's never them, it's always me." And I know that's kind of a cliche-ish type of adage, but the whole point is, whatever. Look, we had something happen last night. We went to go get something to eat, and Morgan had noticed in this little sleepy little town down here at the bottom of the mountain that 4 or 5 times we'd driven by, and there was this lady who was in a wheelchair next to a bus stop with a couple of umbrellas kind of hidden, and obviously something very wrong with her legs. They were very swollen, very large. And finally we drove by last night, and she said, I can't stand for this. You know, I mean, this is a beautiful little town. It's progressive. People are nice. I mean, it's Kauai, you know? And so we said, okay, so let's go back. We went back and talked to her for a long, long time. And, you know, we talked for 30, 40 minutes, and we got her some groceries, brought her back, and then we left. And the whole incident left like, I mean, it was an impact. It was an impact on my essence, on her essence, it was, but my point is, it was put before us for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything that these practitioners, such as her, such as you, so many out there have talked about, is everything is a message for me.
Yeah.
You know, it really, really is. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It has to do with me. Even if I'm attracting victimizers or attracting a certain type of energy that's not so pleasant and comfortable, there's something active in me that's attracting that.
Yeah.
And it is about that magnetism, you know, that really, if you want to break it down into some of the scientific part of it, that's another way to look at it. But and I think that's another thing that we're coming into, is more people are coming out, and I've noticed it with some of these high vibrational people, including Luke Elijah yesterday. He said, yeah, I get triggered, I want to slap somebody, you know, and this is a guy who's 4 generations of holistic teachers. I mean, this is a guy who's very connected, went into the dark night to the soul and all that stuff 2 years before he came out with his practitionership, where he just worked on himself, who still goes through it. Every single one of us still goes through it. And I think talking about it, how do we get through it? How did you get through it? What do you do? That is a huge, huge positive for us. So I want to ask you that. And I think I've asked you before, but it won't hurt to ask again. What do you do when you get triggered or the energies are too difficult or are difficult for you?
I notice it. Yeah. It doesn't happen too often, but of course there are situations where you can just feel it. Yeah, you can just feel it, you can't deny it, you know, and then you said, okay, there's something here for me. Then I try to, that's always my take, trying to step beyond it in a way like it triggers something in me, and to really feel into it. Am I in my heart now, or am I in ego? And if I'm in ego, what is it that is triggering me? What's the issue in me, right? So and yeah, from where, you know, looking at it, if there's something that has brought it up in me, you know, if there's still some wound or whatever, you know, I will deal with it. I will through, sometimes I need to forgive something, you know, whatever. But what helps me is that I step back, so to say, and I look at it from a higher perspective, from you know, from the soul perspective, from this neutrality. I recognize there are some emotions, there's some strong emotions involved, but you know, choosing to be in my heart space, I can get maybe out of alignment, but I'm trying not to react while I'm in that turmoil. Yes, and to remain in my heart space and to deal with it from inside out.
Yeah. And a few F-bombs. Yeah. And a few F-bombs.
Yeah, if it's needed. Sometimes it is needed.
You know, I just want to say I really appreciate you discussing this, what we've discussed for the last 45 minutes or so. And with the comments and everything, a lot of these people were all tuned in together. I think it's a great way to kind of conclude it. We've been through the storm together. We respect and love and honor each other. And so that's kind of my nice way of saying, let's move on with it.
Yeah.
But I saw this comment, and I really want to ask you about this, because this is, to me, over the last 2-3 days, a real-time intel. Morgan and I have gone through some stuff. A friend of ours was talking to her last night. She had something very similar to happen to her. Mike Capo, who's been on the show, and he does some with the Akashic Academy, he's making this, and thank you, Mike. He says, many are having issues with self-empowerment. This may be related in part to the lower chakras being absorbed into the upper chakras. Dr. Joe was on last Monday, and he talked about how, from his perspective and training or whatever, that the lower chakras were the masculine, the higher chakras were the feminine, and that within us, they're merging together. Amira Beth talks about the soul chakra, which is in between that, and that they're coming together, forming a Vesica Pisces. Morgan and I had an our most extraordinary experience ever, personally and together, two nights ago. Our friend had the same thing happen 2 nights ago. I know that this must be going on everywhere. What is your take? What is your take on this occurrence? He also talks about, and what he was talking about with the lower chakras being brought up. And I think he made one more comment here, and I'll end it with that. He said the heart chakra will become the base chakra, with the third eye supplying all power to energy centers. Now, this is all speaking in generalities, speaking in somewhat metaphoric. What's your take on that? Where are we at? What the hell's going on? And this feels very good and very positive, but it's also seems to be affecting our bodies in a way it's never happened before, with some other things as well.
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, the lower chakras, yes, you can say, I mean, I see all chakras as both feminine and masculine, but you can say the lower chakras are more aligned with the mind. So with the masculine side, yes, survival, you know, it's very much about this survival, organizing, you know, okay, but I mean, the womb, you know, I wouldn't say that that's a masculine place, you know, not to my, for me, that's really the Shakti energy, you know, but then again, you come to the solar plexus, that's really the control station, you know, that's where ego is reigning from, yeah. When you come up to your heart space, that's really where the divine feminine, you're in your heart, that's where you surrender. That when you're really aligned in your heart, you become totally aligned with the divine feminine. So it's, you know, this ascension is also about that we move from the mind into our heart space, or you could also say moving from the solar plexus as have been the place where we have lived from, you know, mind solar plexus, where we are in control, we are very much in this masculine approach to life, yeah, where we think that we need to orchestrate, you know, we need to be in control for everything to be okay, you know, and when we are that, we cannot be in divine flow. True. So but the thing is, when we clear the lower chakras, yes, and we move up and we let go of control and we come up to our heart chakra, and when all chakras are aligned and open, then the high chakra, the high heart chakra, which is the oneness chakra, that's to me where the soul star is, yes, the where you're connected with all that is. Then you really have become a divine instrument, an instrument of divine will, when you are in your heart, high heart chakra, yes, and that's, but that cannot be activated until all your other chakras have been opened and balanced out. Not until then does your high heart chakra, which is between your throat and your heart chakra, the thymus area, yeah. That will not get activated before you have opened and cleared and activated the other chakras. So that's the soul chakra, where you just become into that oneness and you get aligned with all that is, and your soul can really step in, your I am can really step in. Yes.
Have you received any intel? Thank you for that. Have you received any recent intel, or what's the most recent transmissions that you're receiving from the Arcturian or any of the other star family?
The last one.
or if you want to plug in right now, that'd be fine too. Or anything that you want to do, anything that resonates with you.
Yes. I mean, what the galactic have shared lately was that it's so important that, you know, again, about this event stuff, about this disclosure, that, you know, we shall not sit and wait for something externally to happen. Yes, that until we start to, you know, step into our sovereignty, until we are willing to see truth within ourselves, yes, you will not even be, you know, available to accept truth if it was presented to you on the external, like, for example, a full disclosure, it would not work. You know, it's really first about that we, you know, open up to our inner truth, step into our sovereignty, and take responsibility. Again, taking responsibility and speaking our truth, yes, and taking responsibility, and not expect some, you know, savior scenario that somebody step in and help us, that somebody will just, that will get full disclosure, and you're not even come as far as, you know, having a deep look at yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, yeah. It will not work. So it's really, you know, about that we are willing to be authentic, first of all, being authentic, and, you know, stepping into divine sovereignty, not expecting any savior scenarios. And they keep repeating, we will not step in. There's still a lot that are waiting, that yes, they already lined up. Yes, they are, but they will not come and save us. They That's will right. not come and just showing us everything, because we would not be able, there would be no point, because we would not be able to even, you know, embrace it. We are not available, because we still have to be accessible, you know, for the truth, to first of all see in ourselves, you know, all aspects of ourselves. And that also includes and that's again what's important, this embracing all aspects of self, whether it's the human self in all its shades, you know, that we have been shown very much lately, but also, you know, to embrace us as, you know, in our higher aspects, whether it's angelic, whether it's galactic, and not like, there is still, and I feel there's some activation thing coming up also to help us clear. There's still a massive fear of entities, galactics. There's a lot fear around galactics, you know, that there are evil beings out there, you know, that will, you know, what do you call it, take us away, you know, when they get taking away what do you call it, abducted and all this. I mean, I will not deny there might have been situations, but I mean, the majority, they are really here to help us, and they are not separate from us. They are us from the future, if you like, or it's actually coexisting at the same time, but it's aspects of us serving in a different dimension. And to really embrace that aspect of yourself, because we have been so conditioned to being afraid of everything that is different. I mean, let alone a different color, you know, different color, but then you're speaking about a different form, you know, and forms that may even look frightening. You know, and the thing is that they have also said, you know, you have to learn to see through feeling, to really go beyond, you know, this physical form, what it shows you, and really to feel into, you know, one of the most loving beings also, I mean, fierce dragons or whatever, they're one of the most gentle beings, you know, you could feel like angelic, pure, innocent love, you know, it's just, wow. Yes. Same. I have also had the blessing of being connected with this cyclops, you know, this huge being with one eye, you know, you have this, you know, like monster, like
real attractive,
you know, but they're so gentle. They're so gentle. They're gentle like children in their innocence, and so loving, so all encompassing. And so that's really important for us now, that we really embrace all that aspect and really notice in ourselves when are we coming in, when is fear coming up, you know, when fear of the alien, fear of what's different to ourselves, whether it's through their form or what they say, what they do. So I mean, whether it's another culture, whether it's another color, what does it bring up in you? What is it in you that you have not embraced as part of who you are?
Yeah.
You know, something that you have pushed away, denied for whatever reason. Have a look at it. Yeah. And just embrace it. And it will be just such a blessing. And it will expand yourself so much when you embrace that aspect as part of you, who you are. It's just a massive expansion. Yes, not only do you transcend your fear, but it's a massive expansion every time you do that. So that's one thing that's very important now, that we can really have a look at all those aspects of ourselves and really work in integrating all these aspects. Yeah.
And I love that message too, especially the first part of it. And going back to, not to go back into what we were talking about, where your post was that inspired me to get you on or ask you to come on, and that is it goes back to that point of the two sides. If I'm out here, I'm the observer, and I see two sides. I'm open-minded to everything, and this is just my own take from my own universe. That's why I'm very uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable with Trump because of a lot of reasons that some people are. I'm uncomfortable with the bandwagon. I'm uncomfortable with Q. I'm uncomfortable with Q. It's not that I oppose it. It's not that I don't believe it. It's not that I'm not open to the white hats taking over the government and all religious institutions and this and that. But that's still that savior mentality frequency. And I am opposed to in creating an environment of separation. Unity is unity, oneness is oneness. And I'm just saying this to myself and to my brothers and sisters, be careful where you pledge your allegiance, because there is only one allegiance, and that allegiance is oneness. And I still go back to the same thing, whether it's Grace over in Denmark, or Todd, over here, or whoever it is that has an audience, that has been at a level of awareness that many, 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 many people are, okay, that don't get the press. Or maybe they have the opportunity to do it, but they have to be careful what they say. But my point is, the truth is the truth. When I see somebody stand up on the pedestal, stand up at the speaker's podium and really lay it out there, I've not heard one single person do that. I've not heard one leader say, we are divinity. Let's talk about oneness. Let's talk about unity consciousness. We don't have to take 2 years and pass legislation to correct this issue or correct that issue. We can do it right now. And we can do it from right here together, to start with. So I just like that message, because we spend a lot of time talking about, oh, well, that's not something resonates with me, or that's not something that I can identify with. But we forget sometimes to look at it the same way, on the other polarity, at the things that we pledge allegiance to. That we would step over the line for and say, I'm going to defend this position because I'm an American, or because I'm this, or because I'm that. They're too much light to an extreme is just like too much dark to an extreme. We're talking about the 0 point. We're talking about neutrality. So I love that message. And the last thing I'd say about it too is, yes, they can't come down here because that's against universal law. And whatever happened here, whatever interference that happened in this perfect divine play that we all designed, that was interference. That was against universal law. And you can talk about reptilians and archons, and go back to the Nag Hammadi and Dead Sea Scrolls and all that stuff. We know what happened. The stories don't matter anymore. The story doesn't matter about the divine masculine, doesn't matter about the feminine. We're here right now with all of this experiential knowledge combined with the Akashic to create a new expanded blueprint. We don't have directions. We are the directions. We are the engineers and the architects, like you said, the alchemists, the magicians, and you know, people use this term a lot. This is what we came here for, but this is what we came here for.
Yeah.
This is what we came here for. To talk about these things like that we talked about in the beginning, and to take that knowledge and expand it for the betterment of all, because we all want to expand the collective. We all have that in our heart.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, just to add this, which I mean has been said 100 times, but that we still have to remember, you know, that we are all playing different roles, and that I was thinking very much about that. And that also helped me to stay in neutrality when I saw this, you know, during that battlefield that was going on the last, I call it a battlefield because that what it was to me. Being a witness, I just, this is like a battlefield. There's a war going on here, you know, but who are you? Is it your war? Why do you join? What is your motivation to come in and fight another one's war? Do you support the light? Do you support love? What do you give your energy to? But again, I was reminded to stay in neutrality and to not take sides, because I thought, okay, well, we are all playing different roles here. We are all, working in different ways, you know, to support the light. But still, again, ask yourself, do I support the light with my actions, with my vibration? Do I support the light? You know, and I just noticed that were a lot of people that, and I mean, I watched some things, you know, being in my neutrality, but I just felt afterwards, oh my God, this really, that my frequency, even though I wasn't taking sides, I was being neutrality, I watched what it did to my vibration. And then I thought, fuck it, you know, I'm just sitting here really being neutral, but how it affected me. And then I thought, wow, this is amazing, you know, what is created through those actions, you know, through words, through actions, and then, you know, be aware of what you're creating. Does it, and I mean, you just have to feel within, you know, because again, the web, what you feel, others will feel, you know, they will feel it, whether they are aware of it or not. So therefore, take responsibility for what you put out there. Yes.
A lot of people have been talking about their bodies speaking to them more clarity around that. And I love what you're saying right now, because that's very true. And I commend you for saying what you're saying, because we need people who are out there doing the type of work you're doing, admitting to the process of it all, admitting to the humanness of it all. Because so much of this discovery is not out there. It's here in this place we call Mother Earth. Well, what I was going to say is that I've noticed this in myself too. And I've noticed it in others because I've learned from others. And I also had the luxury of working with Morgan, you know, and that instruction from the feminine, the divine feminine. And that is that what happened, you know, in other words, when something happens and it makes me uncomfortable, there's a certain program that kicks in, and your body, finding my body, I'm observing other people talking about it, my body's what tells me that. And maybe that's what the galactics are talking about with feeling, because I start to go into this, whatever it is, and then instead of saying I'm acting this way, I'm starting to say I'm feeling this way. I was late today because I thought I was going off the wrong time zone. But I woke up this morning and I said at the top of the show, I didn't feel good. I felt tired. I felt like I was busy last night in dream state. I was kind of grumpy. And Morgan said, let's go on the land. I went through an activation unknowingly. I jumped in this cold water, in this mountain stream, you know, and it invigorated me. And I felt like a little boy. I felt like a little native boy running through the jungle barefooted, and it just lit me up. And I thought to myself later, wow, just that quick, you know? And that's what happens on the inverse. Something occurs, we have this reaction, our physiology reacts, and then the mouth starts moving, or you start taking certain actions, and it's like a second nature. It's like jumping on a bicycle and riding a bicycle. You don't even think about it. And I think we're starting to think about it, because that feeling, which is the true communication, which is intuition and telepathy, is starting to take in, and we're really starting to utilize it, and speak less, but say more, you know?
And that's really, you know, the way to really be in tune, aligned. Yes, that's really being fully present in our body, because if we are not in our body and we are in our mind, we are fragmented, we are kind of all over the place, and we cannot feel. And it's through our feeling that we are shown, the body shows, or the soul speak to us through feeling. Yes. And if you really get used to, so you have to be alert and awake and attuned, and then you know, then you can be discerning, you know, what you give me, and you can often catch up on things before you're already in reaction mode, you know, because ego is so fast in just reacting, you know, instead of just, you know, stay cool, feeling what's, you know, and do I want to interact now? Do I want to get involved? What do I give my energy to, you know? So when you're in your heart, you're aligned, you will know whether to act or not to act. And it's done from a place of alignment. It's done from a place of love. Yes. And that's, you know, what's so important now, that we really, and actually what I wanted to say also, a lot of the battle thing going on, that was really a lot of masculine energy. You know, as I saw, it was really a lot of masculine, and also this Black Lilith energy that was going on, you know. But when you know, it's really for us now to really, you know, the divine feminine really wants to be heard. Yes. She does not want to be violated, she does not want to be silenced, but on the other hand, you know, which kind of feminine energy, if the feminine energy, the divine feminine, you know, doesn't judge in that way of right and wrong. Again, that's a duality thing. You know, she's wise, she's coming from divine will of oneness, where there's balance, where there's harmony. Yes. And to really be an instrument of the divine feminine, we need to be present in our heart space. And you need to say that again and again and again, to be in the feeling, to be led by feeling, and to really being fully centered in our heart space. So if you notice, wow, now I'm in here to be right, I'm in here to argue something, you know, it's just ego has taken over, and it's just showing you, hey, you come out of alignment now. You have to come back into your heart. So that's why it's so important to be present, be in the present moment, and really be alert to see when you get out of alignment. Because if you're really aware of that you can really avoid a lot of stuff. Of you know, getting into trouble and lower your vibration. So yes, it's about speaking up. Divine feminine wants us to speak up, but yes, when things are out of alignment, it's about speaking our truth. It's not about, you know, making a battle of right and wrong. It's about being truthful to self. Truthful to self. Yes. And of course, not allowing others to not honor you, to disrespect you, and to abuse you energetically in any way. So that's also that I thought was so funny these last week, because I suddenly thought how I was trying to somebody wanted to try to get you on the bandwagon. I thought, why? go and do what you want to do, but don't try to pull me in there, you know, because I'm standing right here in neutrality, you know. But if you're not aware of that, you can so easily be you know, being drawn in a direction where you maybe don't want to go, you know, if you're not truthful to self.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's very, very important.
Yeah. Do you? I was wondering. Do you have any connection at all to Merlin and or Saint Germain?
Yes.
A little bird just popped in my ear and asked me to ask you that, and I have no idea why, but I'm sure we're going to find out right now.
I worked with Saint Germain for many years. In connection with some working with the violet flame. That was in the 90s where this book come up about the violet flame. So I work daily with the violet flame. Now I rarely use it, but I used it every day, and also through some Palladian teachings I worked with him. I'm not channeling him very much or not so, but I'm actually getting a bit more involved with this Merlin energy, and this all happened when I went to Ireland. You know, I don't know if you saw it, but
yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that, and that was actually my next question when you and Stellar went to Ireland. But then this little bird popped in my head and said, "Ask her." Really, I had asked me ask her about Merlin, and the Saint Germain part I kind of added, but yeah. So tell me about.
Yes. You know, when I went to Ireland, it was just amazing. It's an amazing place because, I mean, there are basically sacred sites all over the place. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Stella and I have really felt so close, and it was fantastic to meet soul family, which we have both recognized ourselves as soul monad. You know, you just know it because you're just totally on the same vibe, you know, and it's just like, and you cannot not be yourself. You're just so freaking yourself, you know, and just on one vibe, you know. And so we also really and it was just so harmonious, and we were just I really felt that we were merging right into one, as you know, in our monadic field, also with John, with her beloved, and we came into this kind of trinity, and we found out how extremely powerful this energy is, and this is really about the monadic field, you know, the 3, 6, 9, 12, the 12, and then 12 in 12 coming up to the 144. So this is this monadic field, how powerful that is, and we were really guided along to go to certain places, and it was just amazing. We went also to a stone circle that was not very known really, and I then got some intel, you know, every stone kind of started to download information to me, and then I got some downloads about something, and they said, you go first, you go and do your things, because they felt that I needed to do something. And then they were, you know, 500 meters away or something, and while almost instantaneously, while I got a download from one stone, Stella kind of got that same information, you know, at the same time. We were just like totally connected as one being, you know. And we also did a lot of clearing also for Mother Earth, and we went to some great sites. But back to Merlin. Yes, Merlin came also in very strongly, and so this is kind of, I'm very, very connected to Merlin through another aspect of me, and so it's really also the people are coming together, which are aspects, also like Merlin aspect, that will come to this gathering in Scotland. Yes. So this was very much a preparation for Scotland. And I feel very strongly now, and I feel it really, this monadic energy, and also that the beloveds are really called together now. There are some people now that are still in relationship, that are still, you know, just hanging on. Maybe they've been hanging on for 10 years, 15, 20 years, you know, or shorter or longer. But the energy are starting to get so strong now that there is this like a magnetical pull between divine consorts, you can say, that the twin flame energy or the twin souls come. I mean, twin flame energy is different to the twin soul. That's really the part of you that you split up with when you came into two bodies on this planet. But this monadic energy, it's really to those that have really come into divine union within, because it will not happen until you have come into the divine union within. Then different aspects of your soul monad will start to present themselves. Yes, to be integrated. Both on, I mean, you can experience it on dream state, but sometimes it happens in the physical. I have been through the last years, I have been present. I mean, you fall in love every time. You love, and you love everyone. And there's no more or less in that way, because it's just, it's beyond the personal in a way. It's this divine love. It's coming up on this soul monad level. It's just divine love, and it's beyond words, you know. And so Stella, John and I, we were just like this total trinity. We were just kissing all the time, and just, yeah, but you know, and no jealousy or no issues or whatever, because we could just totally feel this divine love on such high level, you know, that was just so expanding our hearts, you know, and igniting such powerful energy in all of us at the same time. And we could really feel this ripple into the rest of the monad, into, you know, into the whole planet, you know, really. And this is this incredible strong energy. So there will so of course there are many divine consorts or twin flames, whatever, that have come together already, but there will be a massive thing happening now. I think a lot. 2019, this is really the year where I believe, and it's really started now, that is massive pull. So yes, the twin flame energy is all about divine union. We have to first establish that divine union within, to realize that in fact the twin is not out there, you know. Stop searching, you know, your beloved is within. And when you merge your divine masculine and feminine, and you know, and they become one, then you become just this chalice, the Holy Grail, if you like, of pure bliss, you know. And there's no more seeking. There's no more seeking, because you're already fulfilled, you know. Whereas before, when we had this karmic relationship, we were seeking out of lack somebody to fill our lack, you know, you know. So when you are in this divine union, yes, you have achieved this divine union within, then you start attracting twin flame monadic aspects. And when you have integrated that, then come this triads. I call them triads of this monadic energy. So there will be some people that you will be that will come in where you are in this Trinity energy. Yeah, you can say Father, Mother, God, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. And those different ones coming together, it really brings up into this monadic field. So this is really the lesson now, as we have achieved this divine union within, that to move beyond that, to say this is not about you and me, it's about the oneness, where we even transcend this. Oh, we are the beloved. Yes, we are here servants. Yes, you are. But it's really about the greater oneness, the monadic field, the oneness of all. We are one, you know. Yeah, so this is what I see is the next step, especially for those that are already together as twin flame, twin souls, whether they call them divine consorts, to really, you know, just embrace. If you feel that there's, you know, don't, you know, just be open and go with the flow, because this triad energy, the trinity energy, is really the next step now. And all those aspects of yourself, you know, because when you really see that, you see yourself, you know. When I see Stella and I see John, you know, and John, he's so sensitive, he's really so divine feminine. And I get, you know, with Stella, there's a different relationship. With John, that's different. With Stella, I can see certain aspects of myself. I just see myself, you know. And the same with John, I see myself, you know. So sometimes when the other one, you know, laughed over one thing, you could just crack, you know. And then when John was maybe so sensitive and he cried over something, I cried immediately, you know. And he's sitting in the back of the car. I just break out in tears, because we were so much going on, such expansion of love, that I didn't even have to look. I just knew when he was just starting to get into this, you know. And so I mean, don't be afraid or feel threatened or something, you know, if you're in this divine union, that, you know, because I know there are also, you know, and I know that you and Morgan have been dealing with that a lot. There are also people that have not yet achieved divine union within, that wants to come and interfere, that wants to, you know, feed energy or you know,
you think so? You think so?
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah.
I was gonna tell you though, to validate, to over the last it's gone on more than that, but especially the last 2 days, what you're talking about, the solidification, I don't know how to say this, but the higher alignment or purification of the union, and simultaneously the visibility in the ethers and in the physicality of the monad, just verbatim of what you said, that the galactics were saying, that the monad will then materialize in the physicality. And so we've gotten some really strong messages the last couple of days, and I got to believe that it's on the same frequency that you're talking about, and I got to believe it's happening other places. So I think we're going to get out and talk about this in the next day or two, just to share our experience, this is what we do, right? I mean, this is what we do. We share the experience, and it opens exchange code between one another, and that's what we're here to do: expand and elevate. And I think, you know, people talk about, somebody made a comment early on when you were talking about what we were talking about, and they said, but we still need each other. Well, yes, we do, but we don't need each other to hold each other up. We don't need each other to kiss each other's ass and blow smoke. We need each other to have these conversations in pure, raw, real authenticity, because that is where the highest transmissions are and the highest activations are. It's the truth, you know. I mean,
because otherwise it's just mind concepts, you know. And when I went through my awakening, that was the whole thing, you know. I mean, I went through years of mystery school teachings, you know, and suddenly my soul just made it clear to me, you know, you cannot continue like that, you know. It was like it just totally lost value, because I just felt, but this is just somebody else's experience, you know. And when you take on someone else's experience, it becomes a mind concept. It's still on the mind concept level. It's not, whereas when you know, and for me, for example, I could not read anymore. I haven't been able to read since 2009. If I take a book, I keep on reading the same sentence again and again and again. I just can't do it, you know, though I love reading, but I just can't do it. And I was, you know, forced, I've said it before, I was forced to just, you know, let go of every belief, everything that I had been taught in the mystery school and on my path of 25 years plus on the spiritual path, to really get stripped down to the core.
Yeah.
To really get naked, because all those things that I had in me that were other people's belief, other people's experience, things that I read, you know, third party things that in one way had nothing to do with me. Yes, I could maybe use an inspiration, reference point, and this and that. But I was just on my spiritual path, I was forced to just say, now, I'm and I felt it. It just had no value at all for me. So I just had to have it stripped all away. And, you know, I had really piles and piles of papers with healing mythologies from ancient Lemuria and Atlantis, you know, that people would give their arm for getting, you know, and I burned every single piece of paper inside my stove. And didn't left one paper and you know, but then I was standing there, I was naked, and at first it was not so funny because I was just like, I don't know nothing, you know, it's just like being thrown out on deep water and you have absolutely no fundament. Yeah, you have nothing to hold on to. Yes. But then is that big opportunity where you can just, and then you're forced to let go, because there's no, I mean, when you're coming down the river, you can hang on to the, you know, this side of the river, what do you call it, but when you're thrown into deep ocean, you know, you just have to let go. And when you let and when you let go, then you're just you know, caught, you know, you're caught, you know, you're not falling, you're falling into grace again, you know, and you and then you see, wow, you know, you finally realize, you know, all fear is gone, you know, because you can't mess it up, you know, because you already lost everything in a way, you know. Well, and that's when you become available.
So
where God can step in.
You can either like be afraid and sink, swim and sink, or swim and find out something else. I got to tell you, in the spirit of sharing experiences, because I saw Morgan Wright a minute ago, 2 nights ago, and I'm just going to say this, I don't really want to discuss it, I think we might do that later, but just so other people know what's possible. We had Helioscamos in the physical, and it was not planned, it just happened. It was not only did we have Helioscamos in the physical, truly, and I'm saying it's the most incredible experience we've ever had individually or together, which means that energy is available. But with it, part of what came with it was an immediate expanded senses, both human and non-physical, to include immediately after it happened a mutual, which we've done before, but an even deeper mutual divine episode or divine experience or divine communication. So the energy has definitely shifted in the last 2-3 days. There's something, and I think we should keep that in mind too, that if we hit another period where the shit starts flying or the shift starts flying, that we can always remember that when we get to the other side, there's going to be something huge for us, you know. So
I would just want to share one thing about this Helioscamos and all this. I mean, and this divine union thing. You know, it's nothing to do with sex. You know, it's nothing to do with sex. You know, I went through a Helioscamos with, I would just say, one from my soul monad. It's years back, doesn't matter. It came out of the blue, and it was actually just him and me sitting on the floor. I mean, 5 meters from each other. We didn't even touch each other. Yes. And then our souls started to blend chakra per chakra. All the chakras blend, and then started from other incarnations, aspects coming in, human aspects, higher aspect, and it just started to blend into one, you know. And how I experienced it was just like I was the cauldron for all this, and I was fucking shaking, you know. Always being, you know, it was just amazing. And the thing is, it happened on two different days consecutively. And the thing was, when this merging was completed, it was just like it just felt like being one huge consciousness field, if you like. There was no individual there. You're just totally beyond the personal. You're transpersonal. You become this love. You just become an expansion consciousness field, right? And I felt, you know, when this happened to me, I was just all knowing. You know, it sounds like, I mean, are you arrogant or what? No, not at all. It is as it is. It's just like you just knew everything. You just, I mean, ask me anything, you know. And I just got so many downloads. It was massive. I mean, I don't know, 1,000 books, you know, whatever. It was just, you couldn't put it into, you know, and it's just like being in this melting point, you know, a melting point. It's just, you just become all that is. Yes. And that's what this Hero's Garments is about. You come into this oneness where you become source. You become the source energy. Yes. So it's not about two human beings. It's not about sex. It's not about romantic relationships. And when you come into this field, you become divine instruments of love, and then you're ready to step into divine service. And there are really many that feels this pull now, and feeling ready really to, you know, I mean, because there's still many in the closet that still are, you know, playing two lives, you know, and then you cannot step into your divine service. You have to be ready really to lose it all and to say, okay, you know, I'm stepping in now. If anybody else got a problem, whatever, you know, I need to do that. I know I need to do that. I'm just risking it all now. I'm doing it because I know that's what I need to do. And I feel this pull, and I know I will not be any fulfillment if I will not do it. So there's so many feelings this now that, you know, and that's what we did in the last activation, this, the divine ray, you know, of service, that there's so many feeling this calling, this pulling really to, they may have known for a long time, this is what I want to do, or they realize I cannot continue as I do. There's something deeper. There's something, there's a higher purpose for me being here. So really just trust, go with the flow, and just jump into the deep, and just let it, you know, go by feeling, go by whatever moment. If you're drawn or guided to go somewhere, you know, just go with the flow and just allow to happen whatever wants to happen through you. So it's a lot of just being instruments of love, and you know, and just stepping back from wanting, you know, because many say, yeah, but exactly what should I do? You know, don't go into that. Don't go into that, because you would, if you were told, you mostly not even be able to fathom it, to understand and comprehend it, you know, because it can only be comprehended through your heart, through experience, and through surrendering, being this divine feminine energy, being an instrument. So this is so important that we do that.
Very true. That's very true. That experience that we had 2 days ago was a tremendous amount of surrendering. And you're true, and it's true too, because
you can't figure it out.
No,
you can't figure it out.
And it's true too, because even though the words have been spoken by her and even by me, because I would say to the same, I'd say, you know, we're going to integrate physical and non-physical at some point. We also understand that this is just the beginning, like the very, very fraction of the beginning. So we're in beautiful divine territory, all of us. Now, just real quick before we get out of here, what are you doing in Scotland? What are you guys going to do in Scotland? I know Stellar sent me a note, but I have all these messages and I don't remember what it said. I don't even think I was able to read it all. And also for people that aren't familiar with you until today, or maybe just recently, how can they get in touch with you? What type of session work do you do? And any information that might link them to you?
Yes. Okay, let's, about Scotland, that was a calling that I got. Actually, I had this calling for more than a year, and I was kept like, yeah, you know. And because I'm also like, you know, I wait until I'm kicked in the butt, you know, to just be sure that it's not me making it up, it's not my ego, you know, because I mean, you can make workshops, you can make activations and all sorts of things. And to me, I want to be full integrity. I want to be sure that this is divine will. So sometimes I simply ignore things, you know, until I'm getting so hardly kicked in the butt that, you know, I just can't, you know, ignore it, you know. So anyhow, I was called to Scotland at several points, you know, and I kept hearing the Outer Hebrides, Outer Hebrides, what's that? You know, I just figured it up there, north somewhere. Yeah, it could be Scotland. I didn't quite know what it was. Kept on hearing it. So I went on Google and I looked at it and I thought, wow, this looked amazing. I could feel the energy. So I knew for sure, wow, this is on my bucket list. I want to go there, but it kind of, okay, I'll just wait and see what happens. And then it really culminated here in, it must have been November, in the middle of the shower. Joseph of Arimathea, he just showed up in the middle of a shower and overlighted me and totally engulfed his energy within my being. I was just breaking out in tears, and he was telling me to take a group of people to gather the people together for a great gathering, a great reunion in Scotland, and to go to Calanis Stone Circle. And I didn't even know about Calanis Stone Circle, but it's actually I think it's the oldest stone circle in Europe. So, I mean, everybody knows about Stonehenge, but the Calanis Stone Circle is a very ancient stone circle. And then he started to download information to me about going there, that we should activate a portal there and download. So it's really about downloading the divine feminine, the divine feminine codes to really usher in, you know, and anchoring in the divine feminine. There are some ancient keys and codes in this sacred land. And there are actually some books, the Anna books, they're called, it's a series of books, the Anna books, where Anna is the grandmother of Jesus, where she speaks about, you know, the true story about Jesus, because as we all know, it's all buggered up, it's all censored in the Bible, but this is the truth of Jeshua and Mary Magdalen, how they were initiates of Tantra. Yeah, they went to Egypt, Jesus went to India, and so anyway, so this is really that this place in Scotland, they speak about this in the Anna books, that they did actually travel there after the so-called crucifixion, where Jesus didn't die. You know, he actually did resurrect, and he did, you know, it's all a hologram that was set up. So he went after that. They went over France. They went they also went to Glastonbury, and they go up to Scotland. So they have been in this sacred land, and it's so they traveled up there, and so we have to reactivate, you can say, because at that point, they knew that, you know, about these last 2,000 years where we have been totally in this deep abyss of darkness. So there were left certain keys and codes where the divine feminine, again, to assist in resurrecting the goddess energy, because, you know, they already knew what would happen. So they have left certain keys and codes there to be activated again. So there are some of us that have been, you know, was there at the time, and we have called to come back to reactivate that and to gather together. And it is soul monad that are coming together there. There will be some people that are called to come there. Others will be there in spirit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Those that are supposed to be there will come there. And there has been people that have been so, I mean, so have felt this calling so deeply that they have just broken out to tears and just known that I have to be there. It is really a massive calling for many people. Those that have to come there, they will be there and everything will be catered for. So and the thing is, what Joseph told me also was that this Calenus stone circle is directly aligned with the Andromeda galaxy, and that the office of the Christ, which is serving the earth from, you know, the higher realms, is seated on Andromeda, and we are here also to anchor in the office of the Christ on this planet now. This is a very powerful thing. It's immensely powerful, and it will really, you know, I mean, Joseph kept on saying it will have a massive, immeasurable effect, you know, to the ascension of the planet, anchoring in this energy. And this exact portal, there's a big portal there at the Calenus stone circle, has really been protected, the star portal, because many star portals have been taking over that energies that are, you know, like, you know, many churches have been built, you know, on ancient sacred sites on the ley lines, yes, and have been misused, not for the good of the light, like Notre Dame, yes. But this Calenus stone circle have really been like protected, so it's a really pure energy there, and it's this huge star portal, and we are there to anchor in the office of the Christ and this Christ consciousness, but Sophia Christ consciousness, the divine union, the cosmic Christ, if you like. So it's a really a mass awakening, you know. And
when is that?
That's from the 30th of June till the 8th of July. And there are still a few places left. I think we are around 30 people already.
Wow, that's powerful. That's a powerful.
It's really powerful.
It's a powerful statement. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's big props to you.
And I saw us being more, and there are still, almost every day there are people that are still inquiring about getting information. So we will be more. There are a few that have stepped back for personal reasons, family reasons, whatever. So if you still feel this calling, the deep calling, just contact me or contact Stella, and we'll get all the information to you, because the group dynamic have changed a bit, and we are especially calling, you know, the ones holding the divine masculine energy to balance out and hold the energies, and also because each one being there do carry sacred keys and codes. We all have different codes, but together it's like when this group dynamic come together, we are like a key in a keyhole, and we can unlock that key, we can anchor in that energy through that exact constellation, if you like.
That's going to be a powerful event. And then you have, of course, you have your personal page on Facebook, but you also have another page on Facebook. I noticed it's a separate page, Grace Solaris, and it says something else, right?
Yes. Okay. If anybody wants to come in contact with me, I do many different sessions. Actually, I have to correct my website soon, because people saying, wow, you're offering so much, I don't know what to choose or what all of it, you know. So there's many various I work a lot with the divine feminine, also through being an aspect of Mary Magdalene, other divine goddess aspects. So I work a lot supporting others in healing the divine feminine wound, emotional wounds. You know, I do Skype sessions where I hold space and we work live, hands-on together, and there are really these are catalyzing amazing changes, you know. And I have people dealing with extreme traumas, and especially lately, I mean, it's just amazing, you know, what people are coming up with, really deep traumas. And, you know, I'm not the kind of person that say, okay, 10 sessions, you get 8 for 10. You know, I don't work like that. I work with, you get a session. If you are really open to let go and to let everything come up, even one session, you can really have a total breakthrough, you know, and really clear everything. Sometimes people come back there maybe because there's sometimes deeper level that is not available right now, that maybe comes up later. But, you know, you can really achieve a lot, you know, just one session, because they go very deep and they're really working on clearing belief system, behavioral patterns, anything that limitates you, contract, vows, oaths, forgiveness work, you know, also to step into your sovereignty, you know. So I work through the guidance, and there's no two sessions that are the same, you know. So I never know what's gonna happen, you know, because I'm not like I have this mythology. I am just, you know, work with whatever guides step in, and I work both with you know, the ascended masters, with the galactic, with the angelics, so a lot with the Elohim. So my websites are graceelhim.com, and I have another website, heart, I don't know if you say minus, what you say minus is
dash.
Yeah, heart-of-lemuria.com. On that website, I also got a blog with many posts, especially devoted about the re-emergence of the goddess. So there are many posts about the divine feminine, and there are also some guided meditation and healing stuff for free in there. So you can just browse through it. And then I got this, as I'm here also as an activator of star seeds. That's a major part of my work. I work as an ambassador of light. I work with many different galactic, different galactic councils. And I have especially a lot of work going on with the Acturians. So I have had to devote one page especially for that. And that's that page is called Grace Solaris, the Acturian High Council. And I do monthly global activations, where you get DNA upgrades and you know, all upgrades, downloads that support you in really transmuting and also anchoring in this, you know, your galactic heritage, your divine blueprint, you know. So they are all building upon each other. So if you haven't done any of these activations, it doesn't matter, you know, you can start at any time. And they are just, every single of them, they are so empowering, these activations. And we started out with maybe, I think, 130, and it just kept on growing. You know, it's becoming like this group call that just got bigger and bigger and bigger, because people, and they start to write to me every time we come to the end of month. I start to get messages, when is the next activation? You know, because people are really feeling that they get an immediate breakthrough every time. They take you to the next level. Yeah. So they are all always very timely, you know, to the actual energies and what is the next step in our evolution, you know, on the evolutionary ladder. So they take us there, and so we've had up to 700 and 800 participants. Wow. So you can imagine that it's a very powerful field when we all come together in divine intent, as each are putting in their focus in divine intent. Wow. So it's become a very strong force field, yes, where we work together as one, and we anchor in those, you know, activations that each time are different. So for this month, I have received, and we've been too busy with all that battlefield stuff, you know. So I mean, we wouldn't, you know, I was in Ireland, of course, and then after I came back from Ireland, who knows what we have put into motion there. But as you said, it started with Notre Dame. Yeah. And so I haven't received, because several people have already asked me, when is the next activation? And I don't know, and I don't ask. I just wait until
it'll be there. It'll be there.
I'll be there in divine timing. So, but I also see like that there has been massive things being transmuted and coming up to service that we needed to look at now. Yeah. So that's just, let's honor that and be thankful for that. And now we, I mean, you know, the new waves will be coming, and activation downloads and so on, you know, so it all comes in divine timing to our highest best.
That's right.
So, that's right. So we just go with the flow.
That's right. So, this is the year of collaboration, co-creation, expansion, and sovereignty. Yes. So let's support. You guys get a chance on the replay, on the live, get a chance, go check out Grace Solaris and Heart of Lemuria and the different websites and pages she has, the session work, and of course the monthly activation and gathering that's now gathering hundreds of people. There's a reason for that. So let's support each other. Yes. Grace, thank you so much. I love you so much. I can't wait till the day I can actually physically hug you. And and it'll happen. It'll happen. Yes, we're changing this thing. You take care. Thank you for coming on short notice. Care.
Thank you, everyone, for holding space with us. I love you.
Love you too. See you later, everybody. Peace out.
Thank you. Bye.